Right, this is a video which is designed to help you with your CAD drawing, which is based on the Chinsplitter. This little unit will teach you quite a lot about assemblies and the function of the Chinsplitter and things like that. Here's the Chinsplitter. We're looking at the black one here. Kind of classic design, really. Hexagonal bar, which has been machined with a milling machine to make these slots. It's got a threaded section that passes through and a knurled finger grip by here. So that's what we're making. It's going to end up, it's our direction of travel, with a set of orthographic drawings with a sectional view and front and end elevation. Let's see where we get started. So we're going to create a part studio. And the first thing we do on the part studio is we do a new sketch. On the front work plane is probably best for this. So do a sketch. You're going to pick up the inscribed polygon and you're going to draw a polygon like this, look. So it's important the circle's on the inside of the shape. The across flats dimension of the hexagon's got to be, so it's got to be 18. So when you pull away, look, you get different number of sides on your polygon. You need 6 there. Right, if you can see, so if I click on the N key, it views straight onto it. I need to make sure that that flat side there is horizontal. So if you go up to my constraints button, click on the horizontal one, and I'll just tweak it around. Okay, next thing I need to do, I need to dimension the circle, the inscribed circle inside that, which needs to be 18. Click enter. Okay, so that's all good. Right, there's my hexagon. I need to make that into a prism now by extruding it. So you click on there and you go to 38 millimeters. Hit 38 millimeters, that's the right length. Okay, next thing, well, I tell you what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the handle on the bottom of it. So I'm going to click on the bottom surface of it. I'm not doing on a work plane anymore, I'm doing on a surface. And then click on my sketch button. Grab a dot, okay, and then hover over the middle of one of these sides. And as you pull away, you'll get a dotty line. Click there. I've dropped my dot. It's level with the center of that line. And it needs to be 16 from that line to the dot. So measure it, 16, enter. Okay, that's the right place for the handle. Click on the circle, click on the dot you created, drag out, type in 6, enter. This is the diameter of the handle. The length of the handle is 58, I think. Let me have a go. So if I go on there, it pulls the handle down and we want to go to 58 millimeters. 58 millimeters. Okay, click OK. Right, the handle has got a rounded end to it. We call that an external fillet. So I'm going to go onto here. I'm going to click on an external fillet, and you're going to go 3 there. So it's half the diameter. So you've got a radius. So you've got a full hemisphere on the end there. Okay, that's an external fillet. You can also put an internal fillet on the top edge over here if you want to. Okay, which would be kind of simulated by a weld. Click OK. So we've got internal, external fillet. And as you can see, that handle isn't quite in the center, okay? If I go back to the Chinsplitter, you can probably see that handle is just more over to one side than the other. And the side it's closer to is the ones with the cutout notches in it. Okay, so we're going to do cutout notches next, right? So pick up the right work plane in that view. You can see it's the one that bisects the shape, goes down the middle of the shape, and do a sketch on it. Right, now I need to point a reference or a line of reference. And the best way to do that is by using the Use button. Click on the edge and you can see I've just projected that line onto my new sketch. Now I'm going to use the offset button, which is the one by here. There's a keyboard shortcut for it. It's O. Click on the line and your first distance that you're going to do. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to bring my drawing up. I'm hoping it's going to be drawing, which drawing is it? It must be drawing 4. Sorry, bear with me a minute. Perhaps it's drawing 2. No, not drawing 2. Okay, it's this one here, which is drawing 1, right? So these are the distances I need to set out: 5, 8, 10, 13, 16, and 22. Okay, I've dimensioned these as what's called datum reference dimensioning. So every dimension is taken from this edge, not from the previous dimension, which is fine. 5, 8, 10, 13, 16, and 21. I better write those on something before I forget them. So I've got 5, 8, 10, 13, 16, and 22. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my drawing, which is on design, Part Studio 3. No, not Part Studio 3, Part Studio 4 it must be. Part Studio 4. Okay, so my first line was 5, so that's fine. I can accept that one. And then I'm going to do another offset from the first line there. Hit enter. The second one is going to be 8. And then another one. This offset is going to be 10. I'm going to do another one. And this one's going to be 13. Easy, Control Z. Hang on, escape that a minute. Something gone wrong there. Is delete that. Sorry, 1 second. Just go escape there. I'm going to click off the shape a minute. Go back into my offset button again. Click. So I've got my 1, 2, 3. This one's going to be, so hit the enter button. 13. Enter. And then I'm going to do another one, which is going to be enter 16. Enter. And then the last one, which is going to be enter 22. Enter. So that gives me my rectangular shapes I'm after. Next job is to join the tops of these lines. So we get a rectangle by here, a rectangle by here, and a rectangle by here. These are my shapes that I'm going to cut out. Make sure you get these inference points, these little dots that appear when you hover over them. I'm going to get scissors. I don't need my first reference line there, just those 3 rectangles. Go to extrude. Extrude thinks you want to add material. You have to tell it you want to remove. And if you click on symmetric, it'll take it either side of the center line, which is what we're after, okay? So there's my extrude. On the Cyclo Chinsplitter, that extrude goes slightly below the center line, which you can do if you want to. Right, next job then. I need to cut a little notch at the top of this piece here. So the notch at the top of this piece here, you're going to click on this end view, do a sketch, click on end to view straight onto it. And we're going to start off with a line that goes from the center down here, and it's going to measure 7 millimeters. Okay, so go to dimension, pull away from that, type in 7, enter. And my first thing is to draw a circle on there with a diameter of 4 millimeters. Then from that circle, I'm going to draw 2 vertical lines. So I'm drawing these vertical lines over here somewhere. Just make sure they're vertical. Go to tangent in constraints at the top here. Click on the vertical line, click on there, and it's going to pull that. So it's a tangent. Click on this one, so they're tangents as well. If you want to go and use the extend button, you can click on that one and just drag up. Click on that one and drag up. I'm going to use the offset button, which is that one. Oh, sorry, that's mirror. Click on offset. Click on the bottom edge of that, and I'm going to flick that way, and I'm going to go enter, and I'm going to go 14 above like that. And I'm going to go back to my extend line. I'm going to go from that one over, I'm going to go from that one over, and I've got my basic shape I'm after. So I'm going to go to trim, and I'm going to trim that. I'll trim the top of this circle, this bit, this bit, this bit, this bit, this bit, and this bit. Okay, so I've got the bits I'm after. I think I should be able to now go on to extrude, and it should just pick up this shape by here. And I can say to it, remove. So it's gone back that way. I don't want to go that far. I want to make this little shoulder by here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to click, instead of blind, I'm going to go up to face. And I'm going to show it this face. And it's going to remove material until it gets to that face at the back. All good, right? Now, so next job, I want to put a threaded hole in the back of it. Click sketch. Click on a dot. Hover over the middle of this bit and drag down. Click. Now you want to dimension the top, so from the edge to the dot to be 7, just like on the other side. 7, enter. Accept that sketch. That's all I want is the little dot. The dot's going to be the position for a hole. So what I want to do now is pick up my hole wizard. And in the hole wizard, click on ISO. Make sure it's M8, an M8 thread. It's got to be tapped. Okay, with the pitch, we've got a choice here. The smaller the pitch, the better. For this, it means that you've got more mechanical advantage. More turns, less distance moved. So got simple, blind hole, and the depth of the hole there is going to be 16. We'll see whether that's going to be good enough. And where it's asking me where I'm going to put it, you just pop it by there. And what that's done now is it's done a tapped M8 hole that goes into this shape. It needs to go a bit further. So where I've got my 16 there, I'm going to push that up to 20. So that hole goes through up to about there. That's pretty good. So let's see. Yeah, pretty good. M8 tapped ISO And yeah, that's fine. So click OK. If it's not fine, you can just edit the whole at any time by coming back and double clicking it in the tree. So that is the body of the chain splitter, basically. Quite a nice little drawing to do. And you now need to create the threaded section that goes in. And for the threaded section, you should be okay with this. You go to New Part Studio, follow the drawings that you've been given. You've got to create a long cylinder. It's got to be 8 millimeters diameter. It's got to be threaded, not entirely down the length of it. It's got a hole put through for the Tommy bar. It's got a little hardened steel pin that pushes the link out. Okay, so that is how you go about creating the model. If you want to create an assembly, create your assembly by going to New and then go to New Assembly, create assembly. On this one, then, what you can do is you can obviously go to town and you can create things like constraint relationships with motion, where you can turn it and that pin's going to screw into the object and out of the object as you turn it around, which is quite a nice thing to be able to do. You're going to try and constrain that Tommy bar in the right place. And from that assembly, you can probably create some quite cool drawings for your orthographics. So you've got, that's what's called a general arrangement drawing, which would be quite a cool thing to create. So that's the gist of how to create the first part, which is the model. Like I say, you should be able to create this cylindrical part yourself. And the Tommy bar, which is very straightforward. All the Tommy's bars got a feature where it's got chamfers on it. Yeah, so have a go. That, like I say, this is probably the most difficult bit. I'll leave it as that.